with things, how they work out there, how they operate. You know, what we're getting ourselves into. So guys will be ready to go. You know, fifth year we've played Cliff, I guess. Is that right? Sixth year. No, it's the sixth year we've played Cliff. So, you know, we've got a pretty good idea what's going on out there. Not surprised. He found himself another young quarterback that is as good as advertised for what I've seen. You know, ever since he stepped in against Ole Miss, they've been playing at a very high level offensively. You know, Cliff's doing a great job of mentoring that kid and training him, getting him ready to go, protecting him. They're doing a good job up front. All five guys are back from last year, and they're better. You know, running the ball adequately, a lot of run-pass stuff. And then just continue to reload at the receiver spot with guys that can make play. Their two wideouts are really good players, Wesley and Vasher, tall, matchup problems, and making a lot of plays. So we got to be ready for about anything with this group. And, you know, it'd be a huge challenge for us defensively, one that I know that we'll be ready for, completely different from what we've seen to date this year. So we're going to have to do a good job of giving our defense what we need practice-wise to get them prepared for what is a really, really different style of offense. And I know we'll be up for that challenge. Defensively, they continue to improve. You know, Coach Gibbs is doing a good job out there. Coach Spav is doing a good job out there. They've calmed down a little bit with, you know, how much stuff that they're doing based on guys that are familiar with what they're doing. Their two linebackers, Brooks and Allen, are as good as we've seen. Those guys are really good players. You know, even 13, the Hill kid, got really good players that are making a lot of plays. You know, they do a lot of the same stuff that we do defensively with their front, just plugging gaps and letting those linebackers run and make plays. And they're good at it. So them getting their safety Johnson back last week was a huge shot in the arm for them. Four-year starter, team captain. Seems like he's been there forever. And then the Texas transfer, the Bonnie kid. That guy's going to keep getting better and better with experience and understanding the scheme. So you know, defensively they're good and they're getting better, and it's going to be a big challenge for us. To figure out not only what they're doing, ID their fronts and block them up. Got to run the ball. Didn't run the ball very good against them last year, and we got to do a better job of getting that thing going. So big challenge for us. Looking forward to it. Special teams wise, they've gotten better, I think. You know, their coverage units are playing well. You know, their specialists are playing well. They had a few issues at kicker last year when they came here, and that, you know, they arguably could have won that game last year, but you know, came out, they played well, jumped on us, and then our defense did a good job of holding those guys to field goals in the second half, and they were having some issues making some field goals, which helped us, but they fixed that. The Hatfield kid is healthy now. He was not healthy last year. He's healthy now. He's as good a kicker as we've faced. He's as good of a kickoff guy as we've seen, which they're touchbacking about 90-some%. And then their punter, the Aussie, has gotten better, and their coverages are good. That ball goes everywhere. So we got to have a plan for fielding it. I don't know what kind of return stuff we can get. You know, we're going to try to get some returns, but when you play against a guy like this that just kicks it everywhere, the biggest thing is fielding it to where it doesn't bounce and just roll like 40 yards and stuff like that. Number 8, Bowman, does kicks and punts. He's a dangerous guy back there that's got out a couple of times this year. But overall, they're focusing on that side, and their specialists are performing at a high level. So it'd be a huge challenge. You know, but like I said, we kind of understand what we're getting ourselves into, and looking forward to getting out there and competing against this group once again. Question?
Dana, they put up nice running numbers against Oklahoma. I don't know if that was just a one-game thing, or do you see that their run game is significantly improved?
Yeah, it starts with those guys up front. You know, their O-line guys, the guy that I coached was with Jake at Cal, Brandon Jones, does a good job. He's been with them for 2 years now. And so the continuity, much like I talk about with Wick, I mean, they got to hear the same stuff a lot before it makes sense to them. So they're getting coached up really well. They're all back, you know, so everything starts up front with them, you know, and then their backs, they've got kind of a revolving door at back. It's much like what we got. I think they got a bunch of good quality, capable backs that they're just going to roll in there to keep guys fresh. So they do a lot of run-pass options, a ton of it. And, you know, that quarterback looks to me like he's making good decisions on when he hands it and when he puts it in play.
Looked like on TV, their quick game really bothered Oklahoma State, and they got a lot of stuff with guys out of position. Is that what you saw on tape studying it?
Yeah, they went fast. They went really, really, really fast, and we have to be prepared for that, you know, and we will. You know, it's different than what Kansas State did against us, or Youngstown, or Tennessee. You know, different than how we play here. Although we have capabilities of going as fast as anybody, that's what they've decided they're going to be, which is why they're running the ball, or they're running 95 snaps a game. You've heard a lot of people talk about tempo. If you're not very good and you do it, it kills you. But if you're good at it and you do it, it's hard on defenses. And they're executing. They're you know, everybody says time of possession is a big thing, which I can argue that, okay, but their time of possession is really, really, really good because they're converting third downs and staying on the field. So, you know, as long as it's efficient, you're good, you know, and their quick game stuff is a lot of things I just said, a lot of RPOs where that quarterback's got to make a decision on handing it or throwing it, and then they use, you know, quite a bit of trickery on formations. A lot of unbalance, a lot of uncharacteristic things, unconventional things in football that you got to be tuned in every single snap. I got all the confidence in Gibby and getting those guys lined up quick and identifying sets and identifying eligibles and ineligibles and playing defense the way that we need to play to be successful.
With that being said, Coach, does that change your philosophy or strategy going into the game, knowing that they can put up a lot of points? Do you try to become more of a ball control offense? Do you try to change up things you do, or you just go in there and say, all right, we hope you get field goals and we're going to try to outscore you?
Oh, I think you got to gauge that with how the game's going. You know, believe it or not, every time we snap the ball, we want it to be successful. We want a first down, or we want to make a guy miss and go score. I mean, we're trying to move the ball and score. So, you know, we're averaging whatever we're averaging on, you know, however many possessions that we've got. I mean, if you know, they're averaging more possessions, that means that we get more possessions too. So, you know, I think you just got to look at how the game's going. You know, I could see this being high scoring or low scoring. I mean, you just don't know how it's going to be going into it. So, our philosophy is to move the football, be efficient, and score. If it takes 2 plays like our first touchdown did last game, you know, we went, 90-some yards in 2 plays, that's fine with me. But if we go on a 16-play drive and be efficient and do a great job on third down and run the clock and win time of possession, then I'll be just okay with that as well.
And you mentioned their offensive line, but your offensive line has been pretty good this year, especially when you look at the fact that you've had almost no negative yardage plays, like one last week, and I think that was a knee.
That's a great point.
What have they been doing?
We're getting better there. I think it starts with our tackles. You know, we're throwing the ball a good bit, and our tackles have done a great job. I think Godney played probably one of his better games he's had. Colton was our player of the game. Those tackles, it starts with them. Still a work of progress with the inside 3. There's still competition there. You know, Josh Sills probably had his best game. He's young. He should continue to get better. You know, he's progressing, and then we have competition at center and right guard. So we want those guys to continue to improve. I think Will has a lot to do with that, because Jake's doing a great job of putting him in position, and then coaching him up and giving him freedom to be able to check things based on what he sees. There's a lot of times where he checks something and we don't even know what he's checking until after the play is ran. We obviously got confidence in him to be able to get us in those right plays. You run the ball into bad numbers, that's how negative plays happens. Well, and they're doing a good job of this on offense as well, but if you got outs, whether it's RPOs or, checking passes because you understand what they're doing, then it's good, efficient offensive football, and we're better at it now than we were last year at any point.
Dana, this will be the best passing team you've played, without a doubt. What do you know about your pass defense? What will you find out Saturday that you don't know now?
Hopefully we can pressure the quarterback. They're doing a really good job of getting things out quick, and it makes it hard to pressure the quarterback when that's going on. So we got to take some of the easy stuff away from them, and then anxious to watch this D line. Let's see if we're as good as we think we are right there, and pressure those guys and try to get the quarterback to to make some mistakes. We always know that we got the ability to be able to bring second level people to get there, but I want to see if our D line can get after that quarterback. That helps your pass defense more than anything. So we got a plan, and looking forward to watch us execute it.
You've been a supporter of the new redshirt rule. It could have helped you maybe in the past with guys like Martell Petaway, but now it looks like some guys are deciding to redshirt and transfer after just 4 games. Is there anything that can be done to maybe fix that part of the rule and help programs affected by players deciding maybe to redshirt and transfer midseason, or is there just
not the way the NCAA is headed with it? There's nothing we can do. So if guys want to transfer and they give them the freedom and ability to be able to do it, which once these rules were out, we talked about them, and I talked about them with y'all, and there's unknowns and there's uncertainty, and I don't think they know what to do at this point with a lot of this stuff. So it's a conversation that's going to continue to be had. I haven't dealt with it. I know what you're talking about, and it's been discussed, but I'm more worried about playing guys that can help us win. And, if we need to play a guy here and there based on need, based on injury, based on development, then we're going to do that. We evaluate that every week and make that decision prior to going into the game.
Dan, do you have any idea if that does skip the year of residence thing?
Yeah, if that happens, that's wild, wild west. They said that's a potential, which there isn't a coach in America that supports that. You've heard me say the only thing I support is grad transfers. I mean, if you fulfill your obligation at the institution that you're at and get your degree, you should have some rights. And right now, the grad transfer thing gives student athletes rights. Skipping the year in residence thing, I think that's going to get down to wild, wild west. And the NCAA says that's possible. But they're going to crack down on tampering. How? Right? So, I'm worried about Texas Tech, worried about the Red Raiders.
Kids, from thinking about themselves, though, especially in this world we live in where they see Levy and Bell sitting out and the Antonio Brown having hissy fits and the likes. I mean, how do you keep them team-oriented?
Yeah, it's challenging, Bob. It is. And last year, I think we did a poor job of it with our team. I thought we were very selfish, and that's probably why we were an average team. I've been incredibly proud of this team and its unselfish nature and the leadership that we have. I just think that our team's in a good place when it comes to that, and it's important for us to play good, and it's important for us to win and make our fans proud, and make our administration proud, all that stuff. That's important to us right now. So I think our coaching staff and our leadership are doing a good job with that right now. That's going to be a battle moving forward everywhere. It's not going to change. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better. And I don't have a better solution other than just keep preaching the team atmosphere and the team, which we are, and right now I've been very happy with it.
Turnovers, you talk about all the time. How much do you get with this, knowing a team can put up 52 points a game, and you had back-to-back turnovers that open up against Kansas State, and now you're going down there. How key is it that you don't turn the ball over against them?
Yeah, we got to clean that up. I'm not, by no means am I saying turnovers are okay. I'm not saying that, but when those turnovers did not hurt us in that game. I mean, there's no difference in driving 50 yards and throwing an interception on the 5 or having a 70-yard punt that lands on the 5. I mean, I'd rather move the ball and do it that way than 3 and out and punt it down there. So we track. And a fourth down stop is no different than a turnover. It's a turnover on downs. They don't chart it that way, but it's a turnover on downs. So Kansas State's turnover in the second quarter was way more detrimental to them than any of our turnovers were that were actual turnovers. So we chart it a little bit differently, but if we're reckless with the ball, which that was a freshman mistake from Letty, which he'll learn from it, and then the only critical thing I got of him were those 2 decisions that he made that happened to be interceptions. We got to clean that up, because if those things can hurt us moving forward, especially if it happens at different parts of the field. And that's been addressed, and we'll try to get better at it.
Speaking of cleaning things up, 12 penalties against Youngstown, 1 against K-State. How much of a point of emphasis was that in those 2 weeks?
It was. I think the opponent has a lot to do with that. Honestly, things can look bad when you're dominating people. So in looking at it, there are some things that we needed to clean up, but there are other things that we just kind of just moved along from it. Thought we did a better job of that, and it's going to be an emphasis moving forward. Penalties have played a big role in this game coming up this weekend. Both of us have been penalized quite a bit in these games. So maybe it's the chaotic nature of how they play, but it's something that we keep focusing on, and we will weekly.
I seem to remember you paying a lot of praise to Oklahoma's yards per snap last year, but also the difference between what they were allowing. You're like almost 4.
Our goal's 2.
So there's a goal involved there?
Yeah.
Why is that? I know it sounds like a good question, but there always seems like
because we like to win.
Well, there's a moving number as to like what a goal would be, right? Like, is there any type of?
Yeah, I don't want to get too into it, because I think our way of looking at it and what we're looking at makes a whole lot of sense that me and my staff's privy to, and you're not. But the higher that number is, the higher your percentage is that you're going to win. Leach used to talk. The first thing he'd look at is yards per play. Yards per play, would obsess over it. And I was just so I had to kind of listen and pay attention, and over the course of the years, then I've kind of understood it. But that margin is a direct result of winning and losing.
Haskins and Sinkfield, are they like?
Don't know. We'll evaluate today.
Danny, you talk about the ability of Will to check a lot. In comparison to other quarterbacks, does he have even more freedom? You've had cerebral quarterbacks at a lot of stops, so.
Yeah, he's doing it better than any of the ones I've been around. And I've been around some pretty good ones, but he's doing as good a job as I've seen. And I think Coach Spavital needs a lot of credit for that, because he spends a lot of time with them and practices situations, and we're giving them specific looks, and they're learning from it, and we're doing a good job with our play calling and our formations and the game prep and the cadence with how we do things, to where they see things and have ample opportunities to be able to change things. So Will's got he's got complete freedom. And he's doing a good job with it, and I think Jake deserves a lot of credit for coaching him to get into those situations.
How nice is to have a mature quarterback like Will when you're going into what is considered one of the rowdiest places in the world to play a football game?
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's good to be him. Good to be me having him. You know, we're gonna keep training the rest of them too. I mean, we gotta, no matter who it is, you gotta function at a high level. But you know, he's doing a good job right now, and we're well aware of what their environment is. I've seen it up close and personal for a long time. We'll be ready to go.
Thanks, Coach.
The Marcus Sims, the way he's improved.
He's practicing well. He's had a great camp, and it's showing with his production right now. So I credit his willing to practice his tail off, and you know, he's done that for a while now, and it's paying off for him. He's playing as good as he's played since he's been here.